14 NDP members in New Brunswick are jumping ship and joining the Greens ahead of the October election. Green Party leader Elizabeth May confirmed the defection during an interview with Power Play.
My former parliamentary colleague, Geoghegan, quite clearly, he's a former NDP member from New Brunswick, and he's lamenting that there doesn't seem to be any attention coming to New Brunswick from the NDP leadership.
People tell me I'm different.
The move is likely to worsen the confidence of the federal NDP. Currently, it has no members signed up to run in the province. Now, across the country, the New Democrats have 180 confirmed nominees, but that's out of 338 ridings. Let's bring in political analyst Michael Geoghegan. He joins us now to talk some more about this. Michael, what is going on with the NDP?
Well, what is going on is that the NDP have fallen to fourth place in public opinion polls. They're particularly weak in Atlantic Canada. And this defection, if you will, of 14 NDP members, prominent members to the Green Party is a huge win for the Greens and quite a devastating blow for the federal NDP.
So, Michael, the candidates are saying Singh has not been to New Brunswick. How important is it for a leader to hit certain provinces, certain ridings?
Well, I think it would have been less of an issue if the party was polling at a reasonable amount, and instead they're polling, I think, at about 10% in New Brunswick, and certainly behind the Greens. And it's a situation now where, for those people who see themselves as progressives and are concerned about the environment, of course, the battle that the NDP's always had internally is originally it was a Labour Party, and now it's become more of an environmental party, and that always created an internal friction within the party. Hence, the discrepancies we saw between the NDP Premier of Alberta and the NDP Premier of BC. And now with this, it could be an election, a watershed election in terms of the federal NDP versus the Greens, with the Greens moving past them.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the heart of the problem, because some would say the buck stops with the leader. Do you agree that Singh might be sort of part of what's going on, or driving people away? Is he not performing well? Is he not saying what people want to hear? What's the issue there?
Well, I think there's a number of factors that are at play here. He has failed to catch on with Canadians. When he was elected as leader, this is a guy that had been on the cover of GQ magazine. They thought, hey, here's someone who can compete with Trudeau, on that kind of level. But in terms of his speaking style and whatnot, he seems not to have resonated with Canadians. And so I strongly suspect that this will be the last election that he contests as the federal NDP leader.
Okay, so let's talk about the fact that they have, 180 nominees across the country of the 338 ridings. What does that tell you? Is that terrible historically? Is that sort of par for the course, considering we haven't officially started the campaign yet? Where does that sit?
Well, it certainly doesn't give an impression of strength. And, even Bernier's party has been able to nominate close to a full slate of candidates. The Conservatives have as well. The Liberals have a number of gaps to fill, but certainly not the number of seats that the NDP need. And of course, in this day and age, you have to very carefully vet those candidates in terms of their social media history, et cetera. So it's not just like any warm body will do. You want to have a candidate that's not going to blow up in your face when someone comes along and discovers something about them. So it's, there's not a lot of time now between now and the October election. So the way campaigns are run today, this is definitely a problem.
Okay, so as you mentioned, not a lot of time, but still time to turn things around. We've seen other parties and other leaders do dramatic turnarounds. What would you recommend, if you want to recommend, that they do, or what could they do that could see them improving their odds?
Obviously, if they have any kind of high-profile candidates or even medium-profile candidates that they're going to be nominating in Atlantic Canada, get on with doing that and have Jagmeet Singh out there in Atlantic Canada. When these people are nominated, that would be the best way to kind of control the damage on this. But certainly, if NDP faithful are hearing in Atlantic Canada that head office has already kind of written off their region, it's hard to recruit and retain members on that basis. So you're going to have to look like you're contesting that region if you want to have people who are willing to do the kind of sacrifice that's required to run for office nowadays.
Political analyst Michael Geoghegan, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate your time, Michael.
You're very welcome.